This is Patty Legge, and I am the Program Manager for A Matter of Balance Volunteer Lay Leader Model. Today we are going to talk to you about the low vision translation of the program. Deb Lane from the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging in Duluth, Minnesota, led the project to create this translation. This was developed so that those with low vision could participate in a Matter of Balance class and address falls in their lives. As you can imagine, falls are a very real threat to those suffering from vision changes. We have several objectives today, and our goal is to help you understand that there are several different types of vision loss, and there are different reactions that people have to vision loss, and identify different ways to work with the low vision population, and understand those adaptations that were made to the Matter of Balance curriculum for those with low vision. The need to bring a Matter of Balance to the low vision population was identified early on. Minnesota received a grant from the National Eye Institute and partnered with Duluth Lighthouse for the Blind to make this translation possible. There are a couple of questions you need to ask yourself when you are working with the low vision population. What kind of assistance is needed? Whether it be a simple magnifier or a reader, which is a machine used to increase the size of written material. Can participants see a flip chart? Is there glare in the classroom? These were taken into consideration with the creation of this translation. The adaptations were piloted, and now we are bringing them to you. Here is an image of what the world looks like if you have macular degeneration. Macular degeneration destroys the macula, which is a cluster of light-sensitive cells in the central part of the retina, the back of the eye. The macula gives you that crisp central vision and allows you to perceive fine detail. Here is what the world looks like if you have cataracts. Cataracts are a fairly common condition, and many people by the age of 80 have had some experience with them. A cataract is a clouding of the lens of the eye that makes objects look as though you are viewing them through foggy glasses or a frost-covered window. Here we are viewing the world as if we had diabetic retinopathy, which is a leading cause of blindness in the United States. Yet about half of Americans with diabetes have never had a retinal exam. This is a serious complication. Symptoms of diabetic retinopathy could be subtle or even absent, so everyone with diabetes should have a comprehensive eye exam at least once a year. Of course, if you have any flecks, spots, or blurs in your vision field, you should seek prompt attention. Here we are looking at the world as if we had glaucoma. Glaucoma is a condition in which the optic nerve becomes damaged by excessive fluid pressure within the eye. There are some considerations we need to take into account when working with the low vision population. One is the degree of vision loss. Are they just not seeing as well as they used to, or have they been diagnosed with an eye condition? Can they see 12 or 20 font printed material? You may try offering written material in these sizes. It can make all the difference. Perhaps they have a reader at home or utilize a computer program to assist with written material. Or perhaps they cannot read written material at all. Regarding using flip charts, use blue or black ink. You may want to give a participant an individual set of flip charts so that they can hold them closer to see the material. Keeping material on paper 8.5 by 11 to accommodate readers at home is important. There are many reactions to vision loss, and we will discuss some of them shortly. Maintaining a safe environment is of utmost importance for all A Matter of Balance classes, and there are some additional materials to help address this.
When working with people who are visually impaired or blind, he or she can be a sighted person's best teacher. The learning and teaching can be a mutual affair. However, sighted people should be familiar with some guidelines before entering into this kind of a relationship. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to take time and look over the fact sheet helpful hints for sighted people working and socializing with people who are blind. A few highlights from that fact sheet are: speak directly and in a normal tone. Allow verbal cues to validate that you hear what they're saying. Announce arrivals and departures from a room. Be specific with directions and be inclusive. Identify the location of things based on the clock, such as, I put your coffee at 1 o'clock. Be positive and be patient, and very importantly, encourage self-sufficiency. Vision loss is a major change in one's life. It's a loss that creates a chasm in what used to be normal, and they need to go through a true grieving process. Everyone does not experience these phases of grief due to their vision loss in the same way or at the same time. Some people adjust very easily, where others have a more difficult time. Some people may go from one phase to another and then back again. People may experience more than one phase at one time. The point is everyone's journey through these grief processes is different, but we all need to go through those same phases. The first phase is trauma. Feelings and emotions may be overwhelming when one finds out about their vision loss. Shock and denial, you'll see people traveling from doctor to doctor, not believing the diagnosis. Mourning or withdrawal, anger and withdrawal. Succumbing in depression is the phase where it's the emotional low in the adjustment process. Then we begin the climb back up the hill, the reassessment and reaffirmation, where people identify their strengths and their weaknesses and start to plan for the future. Coping and mobilization, where people begin to learn new techniques to maintain their independence. And finally, self-acceptance, gaining confidence in their abilities. Some general points to remember when implementing Matter of Balance to those with low or no vision. Having a sighted person to assist every 2 or 3 low vision participants is very helpful. If a person has enough vision to see the flip charts in the workbook, be very conscious of the glare that may be caused by artificial or natural lighting in the room. It is very helpful to a person with low or no vision if the room is set up the same way every time. With group process, every time the group convenes, it's important to go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves in the order that they are sitting. And then be consistent when you're going around the room asking for answers to questions, brainstorming, getting feedback. Always start in the same place and always go in the same way. You see, when a person begins to lose their sight, they begin to rely so much more on their memory. So these participants know exactly what order who is sitting in the room. In regard to printed material, Arial font is recognized as the easiest to read and is the most widely available on all types of computers. Size, if at all possible, it should be 18 or 20 point for those with limited vision. For those who are using a reader, 12 point is best. Color, best is black ink on white paper. Paper size, trying to keep it to 8.5 by 11. There are curriculum adaptations that make it very helpful to those with low or no vision, but still maintain the fidelity of the program. These adaptations include providing participants with low vision the flip charts on 8.5 by 11 paper so they can see what is on the larger group's flip charts. If the entire group of participants has low enough vision so they can't see the larger flip charts, for your purposes as a coach, you may either want to continue using the large flip charts, or what I do is go to using a set of 8.5 by 11 flip charts for my own reference while coaching. Have what's known as a 20/20 pen, which can be purchased through a low vision store or catalog. If you do not have access to a 20/20 pen, The Sharpie fine point, not extra fine point, but fine point will work. A signature guide is helpful for signing the participant agreement. Make a large print participant workbook available for those participants that can benefit from a 20-point font. Along with other class handouts, have the class schedule in large font as well. The icebreaker activity that you as a coach choose needs to be one that doesn't require vision if you have someone with low vision in your class. For example, one suggestion in the curriculum is to choose a picture and describe what it says about themselves. This one would not be appropriate for a group with one or more persons with low vision. And it may be appropriate to choose something like, choose your favorite color and tell us why. Or, what is your favorite food? What's your favorite ice cream? Tell us about your favorite pet. These are the sort of things that as a coach you need to think through. Options to activities need to lend themselves to listening, such as the role play activity in 5.5. They obviously cannot see to do the role play, but option 4 allows them to listen and then to discuss it. Another example is the final course review. Option 1 is to take and put all of the different concepts in a wheel or in a circle on a large chart. Well, option 2 is drawing cards of the major concepts that were in the curriculum. The sighted person can read what the person draws on their card, and then they can take and explain what they remember about it. In activities where you mark columns, such as 2.2, this must be done verbally. They can't just be given it obviously as homework. And this is where the sighted person comes in, where they can go through and mark those X's in the columns. And it's very important that you do these worksheets because they are used to build off of activities later in the curriculum. Pairing sighted to non-sighted people for activities is very helpful, especially if you don't have enough helpers in the class.
Utilizing the DVDs Fear of Falling, A Matter of Balance, and Exercises Never Too Late are important pieces of the curriculum for A Matter of Balance. To accommodate those people with vision loss, the DVDs could be shown in small segments with a discussion after each segment. There are specific instructions that are provided in the toolkit that will help you reference different points to pause and how to facilitate a discussion after each segment.
When we were working on adaptations, we chose to do the exercises as originally written. It didn't work very well. Very carefully, extra words have been added so that the participants will be able to do exercises without watching a demonstration. If you read them as written, while demonstrating the exercises, low vision participants will be able to successfully do the exercises. Here's an example. Place your left fingertips on your left shoulder and your right fingertips on your right shoulder. Raise your elbows to shoulder level out to the side. Gently move your elbows together in front of you toward your body's midline. Try to get them as close as possible while still remaining comfortable. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Return your elbows straight out to your side.
An audio CD has been developed for the exercises. A master trainer that requests the audio instruction CD will be asked to sign a letter of acknowledgement that the audio CD is subject to the same terms of your license to use the copyrighted A Matter of Balance curriculum and materials. The Partnership for Healthy Aging must receive the signed letter before we will send the audio CD to you. At this point, we're going to take a look at several different people that you might see in one of your classes. Here's Sally. She looks like your average class participant. You notice she's having trouble finding the right page in her workbook, or that she's holding the workbook in a certain way to try and see it better. You notice she is straining to see some of the light colors on the flip charts, but when you use black or blue, she seems to do just fine. While visiting with Sally, she says, I just don't see like I used to. She's planning on seeing her eye doctor next month, but until then she carries a hand magnifier and uses it with her worksheets. At this point, she doesn't want to look at the 20-point font workbook. A little later in one of the classes, we gave her a large font worksheet and for an activity, and once she saw it, she said, I'd be really glad to use these. We quit using red on the flip charts and watched where we put them so that we could avoid some glare. Sally seemed to benefit greatly from the class and grew more confident even with her decreased vision issues.
Joan was diagnosed with macular degeneration about 18 months prior to having her in class. She uses a white cane to let others know she has vision issues. She says, "I just feel safer that way." She can see 20-point font for lists and some activity sheets, but using a 20-point font workbook, she says, is just too much. Too much to try to read and is very tiring for her. She still has peripheral vision, and Joan uses a 20/20 pen for filling out worksheets in class. A reader works well for her, and she uses it for her Matter of Balance workbook and other daily reading tasks. Joan has a tremendous fear of falling. She said the class has helped her become more confident on her feet, but most of all, given her a can-do attitude.
Meet Chester. He has macular degeneration and has worked his way through to the acceptance stage. He is working on building his strengths. He still has some peripheral vision, but uses a white cane to help him navigate. He uses a reader at home and in the class works with a large print workbook and a 20/20 pen. Or he asks his classmates for assistance. Chester prides himself in regaining his independence. A Matter of Balance class was one step on his journey. Chester is glad to have found some exercises so he can become more active. The action plan for exercise he created set a goal for him, and he is walking regularly in his building. Chester feels that the class gave him back some of his physical activity.
Jack has had total vision loss for 10 years. He was a computer programmer. He still does work with computers and uses the latest technologies for vision impaired. I learned a lot from him. He navigates his world well. He has a great attitude toward life and tries to build on his strengths. Just like the rest, has a big concern about falls. He feels anyone with sight impairment should be taking Matter of Balance. Jack sees how it has given him exercises to begin to build on some of the muscle groups that have weakened through time of not using them because he has been afraid of doing activity. The class has helped him get over many of those fears. That's why he wants all of his friends to take Matter of Balance.
Here are the items included in the Low Vision Toolkit. A copy of this PowerPoint for training your coaches, along with coach handbook, updates, and additional coach training materials. There are flip chart templates for use with the low vision population, along with participant workbooks in 12 and 20 font. The audio CD of the exercises must be ordered separately. Here is the information to order the Low Vision Toolkit and the audio CD. All materials must be ordered by a master trainer, so please contact us and we'll be happy to send these materials along to you. We want to thank Deb Lane and the Minnesota team for making this translation possible. We are so excited to bring A Matter of Balance to the low vision community.